What's up, guys? Welcome back to the MetaParty live podcast. Today I'm here with my MetaParty co-founder and good friend Rezinator, talking about the proposal that MetaParty is putting forward to the Decentraland DAO for a grant because we want to light up Genesis Plaza. We want to change Genesis Plaza, make it a much more friendly, interactive, and informative place where we can do tours, introduce people to aspects of the game, teach them about everything about wearables, land ownership, and basically give them an amazing first experience so they want to come back to Decentraland and enjoy themselves and make connections. So we've been working really hard on this proposal. Lots to get into here for just a short podcast, but Rez, what do you want to say just off the top about the proposal we have planned?
So some of the inspiration behind the proposal came from our own experience entering Decentraland about a year ago today. When me and you entered, we were greeted by 100 Rainbows. If anyone in the community is aware of 100 Rainbows, he's a DG host. And when I entered the space, he took me on a tour around DG, around his land. He introduced me to MetaMask and more about the game, etc. And that's what really made me fall in love with the Decentraland community, with all the possibilities that are here. And we want to bring that experience, and we want to give that experience to the new players coming into the space at the moment.
Definitely, yeah. I know. I totally agree with what you just said. And I was thinking of saying something similar, is that to me, that was such a difference maker, right? You can just come into the game, you can look around, you can see whatever, but unless you really make a connection with a person, I think over voice is such a big difference over text, right? A lot of people communicate over text. It's okay, it's fine. But in my opinion, if you use the voice function, that's how you really get to know people. And if I had not met 100 Rainbows, if Rez had not met 100 Rainbows, we never would have met each other. MetaParty wouldn't even exist. So, it really goes that deep. And I think one thing I wanted to point out is everyone in Decentraland knows this. If you go to Genesis Plaza, you know what it looks like. There's a waterfall. All the new players spawn in right there. What do you see? You see a big mass of people spawning essentially on top of each other. A big group of maybe 30 or 40 people, and maybe what percentage of those people walk down the dive board, go down the waterfall? Maybe 30 or 40%. It's hard to tell, right? Because you're not just going to sit there and watch it. But Rez, would you agree? A lot of people, they just stand there and do nothing.
A lot of people stand there and do nothing, or they are standing there and they're asking for help. If you've been to Genesis Plaza recently, there's, like Chris is saying, there's a lot of people there spawn on top of each other, not going down the waterfall, and just asking for help. What is this place? What can I do here? A lot of questions about how can I earn money, because they might have seen a play-to-earn game on YouTube or something. So we want to come into Genesis Plaza, bring a team into Genesis Plaza and help onboard all of these new players into Decentraland and give them the best experience they possibly can get. We want to teach them about MetaMask, about the community events. We want to showcase some community creators, point people in the direction of just some communities, for example, like parcel parties or DCL baby dolls, and allow these new people to experience the awesome Decentraland community and really allow them to become immersed in all the events that are going on and have a good knowledge about wearables, because even for people who've been in the space for a while, there's people who've been in the community for a couple of months and they still don't really have a clue about wearables, about the limitations, about the publication fees. So the plan with this proposal is to essentially give everyone in Genesis Plaza who is there for our regular tours the best onboarding experience possible and fully introduce them to Decentraland.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the idea, right? It's there's that big mass of people. Obviously, you're not going to convince or tell every single person, hey, follow us, we're about to do a tour. But when we did this tour, and I'm going to show some footage of the demo tour we did the other day, guys, we are so committed and passionate about this idea. Before our proposal even has been submitted, we've been doing this. Just because we want to make it look, we want to see how it looks, we want to try it out, and we want to help. We just love helping people. We want to help people. It's a lot of fun to give someone that first experience. And let's just talk about the tour a little bit. So as many people as we can get, we're just going to stand there next to that group of people all over Genesis Plaza. We're going to use a combination of voice and text and say, hey guys, there's a tour starting. And over the course of the shift, in phase 1, for milestone 1, there's going to be shifts Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. UTC to 4 p.m. UTC. At the top of every hour, there's going to be a tour. And then once per day, there's going to be a lesson. I'll talk about the lessons in a minute. But the tour essentially is going to go across multiple steps in Decentraland, in Genesis Plaza specifically, right? So we're going to have multiple places. We're going to go to obviously the main building of Genesis Plaza. We're going to go to what we call the long building. Now, part of the funny part of this whole process is some of these buildings aren't named. So we've just given them like names that best suit what they are in the most basic way. So that's where we're going to talk about Mana, land ownership, and the DAO. There's the auditorium, which is a super cool area with a big screen. We're going to talk about events in Decentraland and discuss what people are always asking, which is how can I make money here? How can I build a career here? Just sort of start that conversation with the group. Then we're going to go to what we call the circle building, how to buy wearables, have a discussion on what kind of wearables are available and how to use the Decentraland marketplace. And then we're going to go to the trade center. And then we're going to discuss Mana as an asset, how it can be bought and traded, how it works as a crypto. And then we're going to go to the NFT hallway. We're going to talk about NFTs. What different kind of NFTs are there? What different forms can they take? No, they're not just pictures of cats. They can also be clothes, like wearables, for example, right? So we'll talk about that. And then what we call the social building. Talk about Decentraland's social media channels like Twitter and Discord, and also there's a link to the builder there as well, which is where people can build structures and just sort of give them a little bit of intro to the builder. And then finally, we're going to go to the place we call the Rose Building, which is just a simple structure you can go up in. There's lights. We're going to talk about communities in Decentraland, like Rez mentioned, whether it's like DCL baby dolls, DCL dating, maybe MetaParty as well, that hosts events and other fun activities. And then we're going to do a question and answer portion. So you see, guys, the tour is not just showing people around. It's strategically using each of these locations to teach them about different aspects of the game. And like yes, there's dialogue prompts. You could Google it. But like as we said in the beginning, it's such a big difference when someone who's excited, engaged, passionate, whether it's myself or Rez or all the other amazing staff members at MetaParty, people we plan to hire. In my opinion, that's what I'm convinced of, is that this is what is going to give these people these great experiences to where they're going to want to come back, they're going to want to invest, they're going to want to build here, whether it's communities or wearables or just attend events as like a consumer, right? So, Rez, do you want to talk a little bit about the lessons that we have planned? I know that we have about 3 lessons for the initial phase, and then we're going to add a couple more lessons later on.
Yeah, so for the first milestone, or the first phase, we have 3 different types of lessons. We've got an introduction to Builder, which will be taught by myself. I'll lead students on an hour-long lesson about the basics of Builder, how to design simple structures, how to deploy them, sort of some of the limitations of the Builder, some little tips and tricks like getting some objects from Sketchfab, putting them into the Builder, etc., which really is needed in my opinion. I don't think I've seen any lessons on the Builder in all of Decentraland. Lesson 2 will be an introduction to wearable creation and intermediate design. Using Blender Lo-Fi NFT, a co-founder of MetaParty, will teach students how to create basic wearables. He also demonstrated how to create basic structures in Blender that you guys can import into the Builder and deploy on your land. Or if you work in a team or you have operator rights on a land, you can add these assets in. Even if you don't own land, you can still use the Builder, you can still play around a bit, put your own assets in there, and maybe potentially start selling your builds that you're creating in Builder or Blender. Lesson 3 will be moving on to an introduction of social media, branding and marketing for Decentraland. New Legends will be instructing students about the importance of a social media presence and how to grow brands and interact with the Decentraland community in spaces like Twitter, Discord, and YouTube. He'll also discuss the basics of branding and marketing as they relate to wearables and events in Decentraland. For some of the lessons, we're going to need access to the screen in the auditorium at Genesis Plaza. If you guys are aware of MetaParty, we've been hosting events in Decentraland for over a year now. We've did over 150 events. We will make very good use of that screen, and all the lessons will be very professional, very formal, but also a lot of fun for everyone taking part. So you can trust us with the right of that screen. We also have secured streaming services from our friend Tobik. Tobik has set us up with a stream that we could use in the auditorium screen. So that's already created and ready to go for this proposal.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really excited about that. I mean, because the coolest thing about MetaParty is the team that we have. and we all bring different, like we're all really good friends, which I think is why it works. Not just the
Yeah.
three of us, but also like all our staff, like Ari and Kitsune and Yummy. We all just like get along really well, and we all bring different skills to the table. And I think the way we have these lessons, Rez, for better or worse, has so much experience in the builder. He's struggled with it. He's fought with it. He's tried to max out the limitations of what's even possible in the builder, which is somewhat limited, but you can still create pretty cool things. So I think for anyone starting out, they're probably going to want to use the builder and not Blender, right? If they're just like an average type of introduction person. But then if people are interested, we're also going to have Blender lessons. And the cool thing is, guys, we've already been doing this in the MetaParty Discord for weeks at this point, right? We've had Builder lessons, we had Blender lessons. I've even done a little bit of teaching in our NFT coin holder meetings about branding and marketing and social media, and that's my skill area. I'm really good at whether it's like Twitter, creating logos, branding, graphics, how do you present yourself on social media, how do you do good tweets, how do you do well on Discord. I know all together we built a really strong Discord community as well. So I think these lessons are going to be more in depth than the tour, right? The tour is just going to touch on all these different aspects of what makes Decentraland great and all the different, points of interest and things that you can use to be creative, express your creativity here. And then the lessons are really going to unlock the ability for people to get more specific advice and knowledge, because that's the fun part, right? Okay, you can run around, you can talk to people, you can do parkour. The really fun part of Decentraland is when you bring your creativity, whether it's you like to make wearables, you like to host events, you like to perform if you're a stand-up comedian and musician. That's the funnest part of Decentraland, is you get all of these people with these skills that they have in the real world, and they're thinking, you know what, how can I bring my skills into the metaverse? And that's when you meet people like DJ Trax. That's when you meet people
Exactly.
like Mike Sowie, right? It's like all these different individuals come together, but the big thing is, if people don't have the basic knowledge and the basic information about how the game works, they're never going to do it. And that's why we're so excited about this proposal, because we want to like be that helping hand that gives people that experience to tell them like, yes, like you do belong here, you can create here, and like we're here to help. That's the whole idea.
Definitely. 100%. And overall, with this proposal, we're asking for 60,000 US dollars over 6 months, which means we need 2 million voting power. There is a breakdown of fund allocation in the proposal that you guys can go and check out, which shows you how each month's investment will be reinvested into this proposal. We are intending to hire 5 tour guides that are English speaking in month 1. We're going to pay them a total of 550 US dollars for around 16 hours work a month. And then in month 2, we are going to hire some Spanish speaking tour guides. So in total, we'll have 7 different tour guides. We're going to be hiring these people from the MetaParty community, from the Decentraland Discord. We will have a job application form that everyone can check out, that will have a description of what the tour guides will need to do, all of the requirements for the tour guides, and you guys can fill in this form. We will then select people for interviews and vet these people ourselves through the process that we've got set, which you guys can also check out in the proposal. And then in month 3, we are looking to hire and increase the hours that the current tour guides are doing. So as you guys can see in the proposal, we have tours going on in month 1 and phase 1 from 12 p.m. UTC to 4 p.m. UTC at the top of every hour. We want to now, in month 3, increase the hours of our tour guides, and we also want them to be standing around the waterfall for someone to be there at all times to help anyone who's spawning in to Genesis Plaza. In month 4, we want to, again, increase the tours that we are doing, put in different sort of lessons to the actual experience and to the tours. And in month 5, we want to hire a new language tour guide. We want to hire a Chinese tour guide, so we can really diversify the audience that we're trying to approach and reach. And then in month 6, we are going to really start hammering home these tours with all of our tour guides from different languages. We're going to start adding in different time zones to do these tours, and we'll look to put another proposal to the DAO to be approved so we can do this for another 6 months.
Love it. Yeah, that is the breakdown, guys. That is the roadmap. And then one last thing. Every month, we're going to throw what we're calling the Genesis Plaza Mega Party. Essentially, we're going to get everyone together from the whole community, MetaParty, across all other communities. We're going to have performances, hopefully, given that we're allowed to use the screen, DJs, stand-up comedians. You guys know what it is, like having fun conversations. I don't know. It really depends, like the limits of what we can do with the space. I mean, MetaParty knows how to throw, I think, the most fun events in the entire Decentraland, metaverse, if you ask me. So that's something I'm really looking forward to as well, and that's something we can tell all the new players. Okay, you guys like the tour? Well, check out the party because it's going to be lit. I think we've kind of reached about our 15-minute mark here for the podcast. Rez, anything you want to say before we go?
No, we just really appreciate everyone's support. If you think this is a good idea and it will also benefit the community, please leave a yes vote. Any votes help at all, literally, no matter what voting power you've got. We just would love to see support from the community on this. So, yeah, appreciate you guys listening.
Appreciate it. And Rez, let me ask you, are we going to put this podcast out before the proposal gets released or like right after? What do you think?
I think we should put it out just before it gets released.
Yeah, I think before, yeah. So maybe not this week, but maybe next week, but I can get it prepared either way. It might be good just to have it out, just a week or so before so people can get, get the knowledge before it comes out, get the hype going. We're going to have some events as well. But yeah, guys, thanks for listening. We're really excited about this idea. Fashion Week went so well, and we've just been talking about like, okay, how can we do more? How can we engage more with the community? And after lots of meetings, this is kind of what we came up with. So really excited about it. Please support us with the votes. Once the proposal is available, we're going to have links all over the place, guys. We're going to have it in the bottom of this video. We're going to have it in the Discord and the Twitter, so you'll know where to find it. Thank you, and we will see you soon on a tour of Genesis Plaza. All right, bye, guys.
Yes.